The GEM ring cutting system was specifically designed to cut rings quickly and safely. The abrasive qualities of the two unique GEM cutting discs, rotating at low speed and low torque, coupled with a specific technique, allows GEM to quickly and safely perform its job. It's essential that the user become familiar with the GEM system components, their operation, and the GEM cutting technique before using the system. The system consists of the GEM drive unit, a battery cassette or AC adapter, the finger guard, the GEM cutting discs, and disc screwdriver. Care must be taken in the selection of the GEM cutting disc. It's important that you select the correct disc for the ring that you are about to cut. There are two distinct types of GEM discs. The blue carbide disc for soft metals like the pure forms of gold and silver, and the red diamond cutting disc for hard metals such as titanium, platinum, or steel. In deciding which disc to use, turn first to the GEM Quick Reference Chart. This important tool provides a list of the metals each of the GEM discs are used for, along with some common examples of rings that you may encounter made of that material. One type of disc cannot cut both hard and soft metals. Using a diamond disc on soft metals will immediately dull the disc. Using a carbide disc on hard metals will damage or crack the disc. Another way to help you determine which disc to use is to ask the patient if they know the ring's material. Notice the ring's width and thickness. This can be an indicator of what the ring may be made of. Generally, rings made of the purer forms of gold and silver are thin. Excellent examples of these rings are gold and silver wedding bands or engagement rings. Use the carbide disc on these types of rings. If the ring appears to be gold or silver, but is wide or thick, it likely has a thin outer layer of gold or silver, but is predominantly made of a hard base metal. A school or class ring is a good example of a ring that may be gold or silver in appearance, but is mainly made from a hard base metal with a very thin gold or silver outside coating. Use the diamond cutting disc for these types of rings. When in doubt, begin using the blue carbide disc, and if it doesn't cut immediately, switch to the red diamond disc. Using non-GEM cutting wheels or discs can be dangerous to the patient, to you the user, and your GEM system. Using a serrated saw blade designed for a manual ring cutter on your GEM system can lead to extreme hazard. Make sure that the GEM discs are not dull or worn. If, after running your fingers along the edge of the diamond disc, its edge seems smooth to the touch, it has lost its diamond coating and should be discarded and replaced with a fresh disc. If the blue carbide disc has worn down close to its hub or is cracked or broken, it should be immediately replaced. Using the wrong, worn, or dull GEM cutting disc will generate a great deal of heat, will damage the disc, the ring, and can lead to a failure of the GEM drive unit. To assemble the GEM system, first remove the disc retaining screw from the mandrel. Press your thumb against the mandrel to prevent it from rotating and remove the screw. To install the disc, push the retaining screw through the center hole of the disc you've selected to use. Again, press your thumb against the mandrel to prevent it from rotating and finger tighten the retaining screw and disc. Maintain thumb pressure to the mandrel. Use the screwdriver provided in your GEM system to securely tighten the retaining screw. To remove the disc, apply thumb pressure to the mandrel and use the screwdriver to loosen the disc retaining screw. Once loose, you can spin the disc off the mandrel by hand. If necessary, clean the disc with an alcohol wipe and put the disc securely away in its case for future use. Never leave the disc on the drive unit after use. By removing the disc from the drive unit and storing it, this forces the next GEM user to make a decision regarding which disc to use for the particular ring they will be cutting. The GEM battery-powered system accepts a cassette of 4 standard alkaline AA batteries. Rechargeable batteries should never be used. Remove the cassette from the GEM carrying case and install the batteries. Make sure that the batteries are fresh and that you follow the polarity diagram on the inside of the cassette. Unscrew the end cap of the GEM drive unit and slide the battery cassette into the drive unit. Follow the directional arrows on both the cassette and on the body of the drive unit. Screw the end cap on tightly. The GEM Titanium is powered by a standard 6-volt AC adapter. Plug the adapter's quick connector into the base of the GEM drive unit, and then plug the adapter into a convenient wall outlet. Never use an AC adapter other than the one provided with your GEM Titanium. After positioning the finger guard, press the red activation button to begin cutting. Release the button to stop. Remember, always use eye protection when using GEM. Remove the finger guard from its place in the GEM carrying case. The finger guard is made of a thin, flexible metal. It is designed to be bent, even into a U shape, so that it can be inserted under an embedded ring. Liberally apply KY or a similar surgical lubricant to the metal portion of the guard, to the ring, and the surrounding skin. The KY both acts to capture any metal filings and as a coolant to counter heat that is produced while cutting. Position the finger guard between the ring and finger. Mate the GEM's drive unit's circular guide to the finger guard's track. The drive unit is designed to move back and forth inside the track in the finger guard. This keeps the disc on a precise cutting path across the surface of the ring. GEM cuts quickly enough so that when the patient wishes to preserve the ring, it's best to make 2 full thickness cuts. Prying the ring apart after making a single cut distorts the ring and makes it much more expensive to repair. When cutting rings with a setting, make 2 full thickness cuts on opposite sides of the setting. This maintains the sizing and roundness of the ring. If the patient doesn't wish to repair the ring, you may decide to make a single cut, then use a ring spreading instrument or hemostats to spread the ring apart and remove it from the finger. Thin gold bands can generally be easily removed without distorting the ring after making a single cut with GEM. If a ring is made of a high tensile strength metal, such as stainless steel, it's best to make a partial cut on one side of the ring to reduce this tension, then make a full thickness cut on the opposite side. Rings made of super hard materials, such as titanium, jade, and tungsten carbide, require 2 full thickness cuts. It's essential that the correct technique be used. If not, GEM will not function correctly and you may damage the drive unit, the cutting discs, and the rings that are being cut. Therefore, it's important that the user understand how GEM operates and master the proper cutting technique. GEM doesn't shred metal like a serrated manual ring cutter or slice through metal using sharp cutting wheels attached to a high-speed, high-torque motor. Rather, its disc abrades succeeding layers of the ring's material. As you sweep the cutting disc lightly across the surface of the ring, GEM removes layer after layer of metal until a complete cut is made. This makes GEM safe for the patient, the user, and minimizes damage to the ring. Use only the lightest touch. Sweep the disc back and forth across the surface of the ring. Because the disc is turning at relatively low speed and torque, if you press down while cutting, the disc will slow and perhaps even stop. Guide the disc back and forth across the surface of the ring using only the slightest amount of pressure. In this fashion, GEM is able to quickly and safely cut even the hardest metals, such as aircraft-grade titanium, platinum, stainless, and case-hardened steel. Perfect your technique using the practice rings that are supplied with your GEM system, always using the red diamond cutting disc for these practice rings. Remember, the lighter your touch, the quicker GEM will cut. If the motor stops or abruptly slows, you are pressing down. The GEM disc must glide across the surface of the ring. This one. The GEM system is easily cared for, but it cannot be autoclaved, submerged in liquid, or gas sterilized. Caustic solution should never be used on your GEM. After use, clean the finger guard and drive unit with an alcohol wipe. Make sure that all KY is removed since it can be corrosive. Remove the battery cassette and return it to its place in the GEM carrying case. Make sure that no KY remains on the cassette, as it can lead to corrosion. Remove the cutting disc, clean with an alcohol wipe, and put it away in its container. This forces the next user to select the correct disc rather than just using the disc that was left on the drive unit. Return all components to their proper place in the carrying case. Heat is unavoidable when cutting metal, but it can be controlled. If the patient complains of heat, it could be that the ring has been cut through and the rotating GEM disc is in contact with the metal portion of the finger guard. Stop and check your progress. Make sure that you have not cut through the ring. Make sure that you selected the correct disc and that the disc is not dull or worn. A dull or worn cutting disc will create heat but will not cut. If worn or dull, discard and use a fresh GEM cutting disc. Always liberally apply KY or a similar product. Metals cool as quickly as they heat, so stop cutting, wipe the KY off, and reapply. This allows time for the metal to cool. It can be helpful to lay the patient's hand on a covered ice bag or instant cold pack. This counteracts the heat, and an instant cold pack can act as a pillow for the hand. Applying an ice cube to the surface of the ring is another way of reducing heat produced while cutting. Using a spray bottle of cool water can also be a method to control heat.